Godzilla is the longest running movie franchise of all time, and for very good reason. Throughout his 70-year history, there have been many different incarnations of the kaiju, ranging from darker and sad tones to heroic, funny, and downright goofy. Wait, let's put our pitchforks away, goofy in a good way. The fight we're going to be taking a closer look at pins two Godzillas that are drastically different from each other. In one corner, we have the Godzilla that came after the first drought of Godzilla movies, Heisei Godzilla. Throughout his time period of 1984 to 1995, he has 7 films in which he always seems to dominate his foes. He's so powerful, in fact, he's believed by many to be the strongest live-action Godzilla to date. Standing opposite him, having to look up at him due to his small stature, we have the Showa era's Godzilla. Don't be fooled by his small stature, as he packs one hell of a punch. Showa Godzilla has appeared in countless films and even appeared in the likes of Zone Fighter. The Showa era has been the longest running era Godzilla has been a part of. We all know how powerful these two Godzillas are, and well, why not pin them head to head and see who would win in a fight? We'll be covering a load of different categories which include strength, speed, agility, physical capabilities, ranged weaponry, durability, intelligence, battle intelligence, and abilities. Will Heisei Godzilla's powerful atomic breath and sheer durability carry him to a win, or will Showa era's speed, agility, and skill in close quarters combat prove too much? Well, let's get right into it. Starting off with strength, both of these Godzillas have shown to be very capable in this department, but who's stronger? Heisei Godzilla was able to pick up the 70,000 metric ton King Ghidorah and slam him into the ground repeatedly. In his fight against the Batra larva, Godzilla, similarly to how he manhandled Ghidorah, picked Batra larva up with ease and slammed him onto the ground. He slammed him with so much force that it ended up breaking through a tectonic plate. In his fight against Mechagodzilla, he lifted up the 150,000 metric ton Mechagodzilla and sent him flying into a building. This is by far his most impressive showing of strength. Showa Godzilla is also very impressive. He was also able to throw King Ghidorah, who weighs in this era 30,000 metric tons. He was also able to throw Mechagodzilla, who weighs in at 40,000 metric tons. He also slams the crap out of Hedorah and Ebirah, who weigh similarly to the previously mentioned kaiju. In the series Zone Fighter, which Godzilla has featured in, he throws Zendora, who weighs in at 91,000 metric tons. With all this in mind, Heisei Godzilla takes strength. While many may argue that Showa's is more impressive considering he lifts much more than his own body weight of 20,000 metric tons, Heisei Godzilla does the same, just not as many times his own body weight, but it's still more weight at the end of the day. Speed. Yeah, this one clearly goes to Showa Godzilla. Not only can Showa fly, that being a Mach 1, which Heisei obviously can't fly, but can sprint much faster than him. Heisei Godzilla isn't exactly known for his speed, as he kinda just walks around most of the time. Next up is agility, and I mean, this once again clearly goes to Showa. We all know his infamous dropkick and multiple other times where he's shown his agile nature in his fights, especially when he 2v1 Gigan and Megalon with ease, sort of bobbing and weaving around their attacks, and even sending Megalon barreling into Gigan. Heisei Godzilla, again, usually just eats his opponent's attacks like it's an egg omelet. Physical capabilities. Heisei Godzilla is able to pick up, slam, and throw his opponents. While he typically relies on ranged weapons to combat his foes, he's not afraid to get up close and personal, clawing, slapping, and even punching his enemies. But once again, this pales in comparison to Showa's show of capabilities in this department. Showa Godzilla is so good at up-close combat that he's able to take on multiple opponents at once. He was shown repeatedly stepping on Ghidorah when Ghidorah was pinned to the ground. He was throwing haymakers at both Gigan and Megalon. He was able to completely rip off Mechagodzilla's head, who is insanely durable. He runs full speed and body slams into Titanosaurus. He's even uppercutting Titanosaurus. Showa Godzilla not only does more than Heisei, but does what he can do even better. Showa Godzilla steals physical capabilities. Ranged weaponry. Showa Godzilla and Heisei Godzilla are polar opposites. Showa Godzilla's favorite way to combat his foes is to get right into their face and start unloading some combos on them. Heisei Godzilla is often seen at range, pelting his enemies with his atomic breath. Showa Godzilla's beam is quite impressive. It's able to boil water considering his beam burns at 100,000 degrees Celsius. When fighting Gigan, it would knock Gigan out of the air, but never seems to do any damage to him at all. It stalemated Mechagodzilla's space beam. I can say all of this for Showa, but we all know who's winning this category. Heisei Godzilla easily dominates in this category. His atomic breath is a scorching 500,000 degrees Celsius and is his primary weapon. He also comes with a nuclear pulse. He was able to shred through Biolante's own tendrils, but it seems to merely knock back his opponents. Nonetheless, this is still much more impressive than Showa, so Heisei Godzilla easily takes ranged weaponry. Durability. Heisei is able to take all sorts of attacks, ranging from Biolante's acid spray, Ghidorah's gravity beams, Mothra's scales, and Bastra's prism beams. He withstood the onslaught of Mechagodzilla's arsenal to the point where they had to destroy his secondary brain for him actually to be brought down. With all this in mind, he's already insanely durable, but easily his most impressive showing is tanking his own atomic breath by 10,000, thanks to the Super X2's mirror fire attack. There is some slight inconsistency considering how Biolante's tendrils easily slice through his hand, yet only a single firing of his atomic breath is able to rip her to shreds. So how is his skin being punctured by Biolante if he withstood his own beam times 10,000? Besides the inconsistencies, tanking his his own beam by 10,000 is easily his most impressive showing of durability. Moving on to Showa, he was sliced into by Gigan. He took Ghidorah's gravity beams to the face and sort of got tickled. He withstood strikes from Titanosaurus. He took an absolute ass whipping from Mechagodzilla and was bleeding badly, but overcame this after getting powered up. While Showa Godzilla's durability is good, it's not nearly as good as Heisei's. Intelligence. Heisei Godzilla doesn't have too much to show off in regards to IQ. The two main things that can indicate anything regarding intelligence is that, for one, he was able to realize Space Godzilla was drawing power from the Fukuoka Tower. Secondly, he showed emotion as he was pained and distraught by the death of his son at the hands of Destroyer. That's about it. Showa Godzilla, on the other hand, has a lot more to go off of. He can also show emotion, like Heisei Godzilla. He's able to communicate with Anguirus and even had a conversation with Rodan and Mothra before battling Ghidorah. He was able to coordinate with a large number of other kaiju to combat Ghidorah, not to mention also coordinated with King Caesar against Mechagodzilla. Just going off of these, it's clear Showa Godzilla is the more intelligent one, as he seems to have close to human level cognition. Battle intelligence. While Showa may be smarter than Heisei overall, let's see who's smarter on the battlefield. Heisei Godzilla has fought a total of 11 kaiju throughout the Heisei era. He seemingly fights the same throughout these fights. As mentioned previously, he realized that Space Godzilla was drawing power from the tower nearby, but besides that, he seemingly acts in an animalistic nature. Moving on to Showa Godzilla, he's fought more than 20 kaiju. Let's see how he fought against them. He's able to exploit the weaknesses of his enemies, as seen on multiple occasions. He was able to figure out that Hedorah's weakness was electricity and utilize the giant electrodes built by the JSCF to take Hedorah down. Showa Godzilla's combat experience and exploitation of his enemies' weaknesses gives him the edge in battle intelligence. Abilities. Showa Godzilla has a standard atomic breath, shocker, I know, which burns at around 100,000 degrees Celsius. It's able to easily boil water, and while it may not do too much visible damage to his opponents, it still packs a heavy punch. He possesses magnetic powers, as seen when fighting Mechagodzilla, thanks to being struck by lightning several times. He's actually able to regenerate quite fast, as his hand, that had been melted down to the bone thanks to Hedorah, was seen almost regenerated back to full capacity. Obviously, he has amphibiousness. He's able to fly at around Mach 1. He's able to use telepathy, but it might only be between humans. Overall, a pretty good rundown for Showa Godzilla, but how does Heisei Godzilla stack up? Heisei Godzilla has his own atomic breath, which burns at 500,000 degrees Celsius. This beam is quite powerful, as he was able to completely snap off one of Ghidorah's necks. He's able to use a nuclear pulse, which seems to, for the most of the time, just push his enemies back, but it did rip off Violante's tendrils. Once again, he comes with amphibiousness, being able to traverse in water very well. He's able to absorb and project energy. When he was a Godzillasaurus, he absorbed the radiation from a hydrogen bomb and absorbed the radiation from the Bass Island explosion. He's able to project radiation, as seen when attempting to revive Godzilla Jr. when he's dead. Showa Godzilla takes abilities, as he not only has more, but arguably has the more efficient abilities in what's important, combat. After analyzing the categories, Heisei Godzilla takes strength, ranged weaponry, and durability. Showa Godzilla takes speed, agility, physical capabilities, intelligence, battle intelligence, and abilities. With a final score of 6-3, Showa Godzilla seemingly takes the win, or does he? Let's go back to our previous versus battle with Super Mechagodzilla versus Monstrous Mechagodzilla. Monstrous Mecha steamrolled past and won the majority of the categories, but he lost some of the very important ones, such as durability and ranged weaponry. In this fight, while Showa may be the faster and more physically capable opponent, Heisei Godzilla has answers to this deficit. Considering Showa Godzilla has lifted a lot more than Heisei, he's going to be able to toss him around. If he gets Heisei on the ground and tries to punch him into a liquid mess, for one, these punches aren't going to do too much to him, as we've already established how durable Heisei Godzilla is. Not to mention, we've seen how Heisei Godzilla's pulse sends his opponents flying. For example, Heisei Mothra. She weighs the exact same as Showa Godzilla at 20,000 metric tons, but got sent flying by the pulse. Heisei Godzilla's very powerful atomic breath, his durability, and nuclear pulse would most likely carry him to a win. Not to mention, he's not bad up close, it's just that Showa outclasses him in this category. Heisei Godzilla's raw power, strength, and durability grant him the winner of this fight. What did you guys think of the result? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know down in the comments below. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this week's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya!
Cause nobody wants to see Marshall no more. They want shady, I'm top liver. Well, if you want shady,